Sunny Snetterton plays host to the season opener for the 2019 Avon Tyres National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. We're expecting 3 great slipstreaming races around the high-speed circuit in Norfolk, and with lots of new faces joining in the action for this year, possibly a new champion could be crowned at the end of the year. It all starts here today though, with the first of 3 action-packed races.
Certainly should be, Andy, as the cars head onto the grid for the first round of the 2019 season with some new faces taking on the established challengers. This is how they line up. Ross Martin and Spike Colbecker on the front row of the grid from James Clark and Neil McLennan on row 2, with esports champion Brendan Lee starting 5th on his debut alongside Jonathan Brown, with Rory Smith and Michael McPherson on row 4. Max Maserati and Jamie Sharp complete the top 10 for Morgan Quinn, Aaron Jeanson, John Svensson and Henry Chart, then Adam Quartermain and rookie Nicole Woods on row 8 from Pascal Monbaron, Klaus-Dieter Harkel, Sam Street and Scott Huntley rounding out the 20-car entry for this opening round of the season. It is a beautiful day here at Snetterton for the first of 3 15-minute races. Watch for the red lights at the top of the screen. We're on board with James Clark as 2019 is go here at Snetterton. Clean start from the first few rows. Good getaway from Martin from pole position. James Clark already slotting up to 2nd place as they head down towards Ritchie's for the very first time in 2019. Martin leads, Clark in 2nd. Spike Colbecker from the front row down to 3rd, ahead of Neil McLennan. We go back on board with James Clark, a little wide on the exit of Ritchie's corner, down towards the Wilson hairpin for the first time. Martin continues to lead, Clark in 2nd. It's now McLennan up to 3rd place past Spike Colbecker. Rest of the field goes streaming through. There's Henry Chart towards the back as well as Pascal Monbaron. We've now got Rory Smith as they turn into the left-hander at Palmer's. He's already been a race winner so far this season. He won one of the opening Northern rounds at Alton Park just a week before this weekend. And now he's up there towards the front, challenging with the national front runners. To the outside line, into Agostini goes Smith. He's now making an attack on Jonathan Brown. Back on board with Smith in the Medina JL18. That's the Medina developed car by BM Racing. Into the left-hander at Hamilton's. Big sideways moment for Jonathan Brown in this opening lap. They head up towards Oggies for the first time. It's an early apex right-hander. Opens out all the way through the exit. Now towards Williams for the first time. Now we should explain again, these guys at the front, these are the pro class runners. They'll be going after the Road to Indy Scholarship Shootout prize, worth $200,000. Of course, you've got the club and drivers behind the more enthusiasts in Formula Ford racing, simply out to enjoy their competition. Side by side for the lead into the complex of Brendan Nelson. Clark tries to look up the inside of Ross Martin, but the Scotsman has the line covered as they turn out through Nelson up towards the bomb hole for the first time. This very fast right-hander just really dips on the apex, big compression as they hop out the other side. And now they start to turn all the way through this long right-hander as James Clark fights with the wheel to turn through Coram and up towards Murray's for the first time. It is Ross Martin that leads. We've then got the 2 of the 3 Cliff Dempsey cars in the mix, and there in car 72, that is double F1 esports champion Brendan Lee on his circuit racing debut, already battling with British F4 man Jamie Sharp. Back on board with James Clark, looking to the outside line to take the lead from Ross Martin down towards Ritchie's corner. Up the inside goes his teammate Spike Colbecker for 2nd place. Clark runs out wide, he's over the AstroTurf, he's over the dirt, he's off the road, he's onto the grass, through goes Colbecker, through goes Rory Smith. He's down to 4th position and almost 5th if he's not careful into the hairpin. Martin carries on leading, yes, through the inside goes Jonathan Brown on James Clark, and he's down to 5th position. Back with Rory Smith now in 3rd place, challenging after Spike Colbecker in 2nd. Now he may be a new name to British Formula Ford circles, but he's been racing these kind of cars over in Canada and New Zealand, and it really shows. Already challenging the leader Ross Martin into the hairpin at Agostini's for the 2nd time, but he runs deep on the entry, and up the inside goes Rory Smith and says, "Cheers for that, Spike. Welcome to British Formula Ford racing." So now here's James Clark in 5th position now, chasing after teammate Jonathan Brown once again. Turn in through the left-hander at Hamilton's and up now towards Oggies. Now we've got all 3 of the Cliff Dempsey cars in line astern, 3rd, 4th and 5th all together. Spike Colbecker leading the train from Brown and then from James Clark. But now we've got a fight brewing here between Ross Martin in the white and blue Van Diemen and Rory Smith in the Medina, and Rory Smith pointing at Ross Martin saying, "Come on, let's work together and pull away, because we can slipstream each other, we can try and get away in the lead." He actually pump drafts Ross Martin down into the braking zone for Brendan Nelson. That's how serious he is. Lots of speed through the apex at Nelson, tucked under the gearbox of Martin. Now back into the bomb hole again, just trying to keep on the right side of those little marker posts on the inside of the apex. And now it's Rory Smith's turn to start to press the issue on Ross Martin, but both of them are being put under serious pressure from the comeback kid Spike Colbecker after his mistake. He's up there in third and bringing his two Cliff Dempsey Racing teammates with him. Jonathan Brown and that man James Clark. Here comes Smith again. Again, giving the gearbox of Martins Van Diem a bit of a nudge to help them along down the pit straight. Up towards Ritchie's. Colbecker takes a look up the inside for second as Brown defends from Clark. There goes Brendan Lee, followed by Neil McLennan, then Jamie Sharp in his first National Formula Ford race since leaving British F4. Now we look at Michael McPherson and John Svensson battling ahead of Max Maserati. There's Neil McLennan running deep into the hairpin. Now he's under threat from Jamie Sharp as they exit Wilson's up towards Palmer's. Max Maserati's up the inside of Michael McPherson, who fights back on the exit, up the inside towards Palmer's and slots in between John Svensson in front. The man we're riding with, Max Maserati. Leaders into Agostini once again. And Sharp this time making a move on teammate Jonathan Brown. They've got to be careful not to make contact, otherwise I suspect that Cliff Dempsey will be having heart palpitations watching that going on. Up towards the left-hander Hamilton's again. Just see the three cars in front, line astern. Up towards Oggies and again taking another peek up the inside. James Clark looking to make up ground after he was as high as second off the start, but then dropped back after running wide on the exit at Ritchie's corner, and now he's got to try and fight his way back up through the order to get himself back on the podium if he can. Out of Williams' corner, down the Bentley straight, using the slipstream to his advantage. He moves out to the inside line, and now the inside line for Brundle. Head down side by side up to the bridge, and he's also waving at Jonathan Brown. Come on, let's catch the three cars in front, let's work together. Big sideways moment under brakes for James Clark as they turn out through Brundle and Nelson, but he holds on to fourth position. Up through the gears, back through the bomb hole again. Now his next task is to catch the three cars in front, first of which is his teammate Spike Colbecker, and then Smith, and then Ross Martin. Through this endless right-hander Coram, just keeping the right side of those marker posts. Flick left through Murray's, keep careful of the sausage curve on the inside, and away they go down the centre straight. Here's the battle brewing between Michael McPherson in the 16 and the 81 of Max Maserati, former junior Clio racer, turned to single-seaters last year. Rory Smith looks to the lead now on the inside of Ross Martin, up the inside of Ritchie's corner. He's got the line, he's got the place, and he's through. And I suspect that Ross didn't really fight too hard, but look in the mirror. Spike Colbeck has got through into second place. He's going to be threatening for the lead anytime soon. Now back into the right-hander at Ritchie. Still, we've got McPherson and Maserati battling away. We're on board with Max now. Good to see him committing to a full season with Team Dolan, the reigning champions in National Formula Ford. Just behind them is teammate Morgan Quinn from Ireland. Just takes a place on Aaron Jeanson in one of the Oldfield Motorsport cars. James Oldfield's outfit, of course, fresh from the Formula Ford Festival, where they scored glory with Joshua Smith. He's been working away at that for several years, but good to see them finally achieving their goal. Still this battle going on between Michael McPherson at one of the three Kevin Mills Racing prepared cars. He also runs Neil McLennan and Brendan Lee. And back on board Maserati. There's the view. Looking at the back of McPherson, another young Scotsman. It really is a proper international affair this year. We've got a couple of Americans in the field, the Irish, of course, across into the British Championship, as well as the Scots, and of course the best that the England and Wales has to offer as well. Now we see Aaron Jeanson coming under threat from a recovering John Svensson. He was up there battling with Maserati and Michael McPherson, but has dropped back a little bit, and now he's on the back of Jeanson to take positions back into the top 10. Back with James Clark. He really has closed in these top three here as they've all shuffled around. And there is Ross Martin, proof that he lost not only the lead, but second place on the exit of Ritchie's corner as they turn back through the bomb hole again. The four of them all together, line astern, all together gliding their way through that long right-hander, the way the steering wheel twitches in James Clark's hands, down a gear, through the left-hander and onto this pit straight. A good exit down here will give him a great chance to get a tow and a run for a pass into Ritchie's corner. Here's McPherson, a little deep on the exit. That could give him at Maserati all the chance he needs to try and get through. As they head down towards Ritchie's, the leaders head up towards the right-hander. Still Smith in the lead. Colbeck is second. Then it's Martin, followed by Clark. Then it's Jonathan Brown holding station in fifth. So Cliff Dempsey will be very pleased to see three of his cars up there in the top five, battling amongst both Rory Smith and Ross Martin. Safe to say the three of them are certainly giving these two the run around here at the front. One is up in second place battling for the lead, whilst Martin's got to deal with the other two, scrapping over the final podium place as Clark again just hangs the tail out of the 77, out of Palmer's and down towards Agostini's. It's a beautiful Easter weekend here at Snetterton. Fantastic weather conditions, clear blue skies, nice warm temperatures, perfect weather for racing, and a great way to start the 2019 season. And it's been a great battle so far in these leading positions in this opening half of the race. James Clark, he joined Cliff Dempsey Racing towards the end of last year. He really impressed on his team debut at Croft as he gets a big slide on exiting Oggies. Scored a third place that weekend, and he was able to secure a deal to contest the 2019 season with Cliff's outfit. He settled in very well in his new car for the season. Up there in fourth place, challenging the top three. We're back with him now. Watching Martin, he's attacking Cole Becker, who in turn is taking a look at Smith. 5 of them all together, through Brundle, through the left, flick right through Nelson. And now Ross Martin's on the ropes here, because here comes Clark. Again, can't find a way through the right-hander at Bombhole. He'll have to try and set him up for a move, possibly on the exit of Murray's and on the long drag up the centre straight towards Ritchie's. Here they come. Martin with a big slide on the middle of Coram Corner, but still Smith that leads it. Cole Becker second, Martin third. Martin, of course, was one of the lucky drivers that went through to the USF 2000 Road to Indy Scholarship Shootout last year, because he won his ticket as courtesy of winning the Scottish Championship in Formula Fords. Up the inside looks Spike Colbecker for second place. Trying to take the lead away from Rory Smith as they turn out through the right-hander of Ritchie's. Clark getting a little ragged on the exit. You can tell how hard he's pushing. They all close up into Wilson Hairpin, and just at the back of that queue, that's Brendan Lee in 6th position. So talk about a baptism of fire to Formula Fords. His first ever circuit race, and Brendan Lee is absolutely taking it to the established names. What a great run it is so far for him. So James Clark now continues to stare at the gearbox of Ross Martin, down the straight towards Agostini's. A little wide entry into Agostini for Smith, but it seems to work on the exit because he carries the speed all the way through the corner on the sprint down towards Hamilton's. James Clark still fourth, just tucking in behind him now is going to be Jonathan Brown in fifth. Brendan Lee will be in there somewhere in 6th position. And again, through Oggies, again, just a twitch of oversteer as he puts the power down. That's the beauty of Formula Ford. These cars run purely on mechanical grip. They're like big versions of go-karts, really. But of course, they're so good for racecraft, so good for mechanical setup in terms of grip and adhesion. And they teach you a lot in racing. They're one of the most purest forms of car you can race on a track at any given time. And now James Clark looking to the outside for third place for Ross Martin. Can he make a move into Nelson, stick through Brundle, up the inside into the right-hander, and he's got it. Great move from James Clark. Took the fight to Ross Martin, sailed around the outside, had the line, and said, thank you very much, Ross, into a podium place. Now, let's see what he can do to catch after his teammate, Spike Colbecker, and leader Rory Smith. They turn back through Coram as Colbecker continues to apply the pressure. Rory Smith holding on him a lead, little slide through the apex. James Clark runs wide on the exit of Murray's Corner, loses 1, 2, 3 places, 4 as there goes, that's Neil McLennan, 5, there goes Jamie Sharp. And so all of James Clark's hard work has been immediately undone through one small mistake. Meanwhile, leaders battling amongst each other. There's third position for Ross Martin, fourth now for Jonathan Brown, 5th place for Brendan Lee. As now going wide on the exit was Jonathan Brown, under brakes now, into the Wilson Hairpin goes Rory Smith, still Colbecker in tow at the Wilson Hairpin, whoops, contact! And I think that was Brendan Lee tagging the rear of Jonathan Brown, as James Clark takes the long way around the hairpin, around his teammate, who's stationary, facing the wrong way at the hairpin. That's the last place he wants to be. This is the view of James Clark. That little speck in front is the men in 4th and 5th position. But he's got an awful lot of work to do to try and catch back up to them after their mistake. Colbecker gliding the car backwards into Agostini hairpin. Shows how hard he's trying. Both of them have pulled away ever so slightly now from Ross Martin in 3rd place. This is the perfect view for Rory. Clear track in front, but just keep an eye on his left-hand mirror, because he's just there lurking in the background. Will be Spike Colbecker. There he is. And now heading through the right-hander at Wilt Williams is going to be all crucial. There is Spike, was born in St. Louis. Now hoping to make his way up to the Road to Indy. One of his ambitions, he wants to make it to the Road to Indy shootout, and he really wants to shock the establishment through just how good he is. Now as they come down towards Brundle Nelson, there he is on the outside line, attacking for the lead on Rory Smith. Caught him a little bit off guard, but he sweeps back in front and holds on to the place. So Rory Smith being made to work for this one, and there again, his left-hand mirror, there is the looming raised chassis of Spike Colbecker. He will not give this up. He would love to pick up a race victory in his first race in the UK. If he can pull this one off, it would be an absolutely fantastic result for Cliff Dempsey, and a real find for him in terms of a future racing talent. Little sideways on the exit of Murray's as they head onto the pit straight now. And Spike Colbecker is in the tow, up the centre straight, hugging the inside of the pit wall for the shortest run down towards Ritchie's. And down towards the right-hander as we now onto the last lap of the race, and Colbecker's down the outside line. But still, Rory Smith will not capitulate and give way. Cliff Dempsey's young charge, Spike Colbecker, is giving it everything now on the last lap here at Snetterton. This is only the first race of the season, and they're going at it hammer and tongs. This is a precedent for the rest of the year. This will be absolutely spectacular. Out of Park Wilson's, up towards Palmer's for the final time. And again, Rory Smith working the wheel of the 45, the Medina JL18 chassis, working well here in these warm conditions. Just behind the background, we see the two Kevin Mills twins of Brendan Lee and Neil McLennan battling amongst each other. And again, Smith deep on the apex of Agostini. Colbecker stays with him. Martin is there in third, keeping a watching brief. There are the two Kevin Mills cars in fourth and fifth. And again, Smith just backs the car into the corner. And back into Oggies for the last time. Little dab of curb. Use all the road on the exit. Now then, Colbecker needs to get a really good run off this corner onto the Bentley straight now for the last time, and he really has. Look at that. Look at the number 5 car. He's in the slipstream, looks to the inside line. Smith goes to cover. Can he shut him out? I think the answer is yes. There he is. Look in the mirror, and that's James Clark out of the race. Oh, well, that race went from bad to worse after the mistake, didn't it? Out of the race on his first weekend back with Cliff Dempsey, but out the final corner, Rory Smith has taken the lead. He stayed there and absorbed all the pressure from the cars behind. He will head to the checkered flag as the first winner of the 2019 season in the Avon Tyres National Formula 4 Championship. Rory Smith draws first blood at Snetterton, wins from Spike Colbecker in second place, Ross Martin third, and Spike Colbecker already gives the thumbs up. What a great run that was for Spike in his first race in the UK. Rory Smith takes the spoils. There's Ross Martin the third. Here's the results. Smith, Colbecker and Martin make up the top three, with Jamie Sharp fourth, Neil McLennan fifth, then McPherson, Maserati, Quinn, Brown and Brendan Lee, who finished fourth on the road, and got a penalty that put him down to 10th. John Spence 11th, Adam Quartermain 12th, then Monbaron, Jeanson, Woods, Harcourt Street and Huntley round out the 18 finishers. Wow, what a great start to the 2019 season.